Welcome to Rotten Reelz Reviews, as I sit through what can only be described as a festering turd and a blight on the cinematic scope. You know, they established that imitation is the greatest form of flattery, have obviously not had to sit through Robo Vampire. Yeah, I didn't stutter with that. Imagine what normally one would construe from that title. As I felt it was misleading, and no way, shape, or form was it comprised of a cybernetic vampire that kicked ass for the Lord. Although I think I should probably write that instead of sitting through this review. But our opus opens with none other than two pseudo-quasi-military guards holding a guy at gunpoint. They start randomly opening crates, and they're startled by snakes. Our Calamity guards end up wasting about 12 rounds to deal with the fuckers, and while I'm hoping they're rubber snakes, and this being a Godfrey Ho movie, I'm pretty sure they shot real ones. Who's Godfrey Ho, you may ask? Well, I bet you're glad you really did, because while I have not covered this particular director extensively, I'll give you the final highlights of it all. With no less than 120 titles under his belt, Godfrey Ho is known as the cut-and-paste director of taking films that have never been finished or simply weren't released, and then splicing them together with either a ninja, a commando, or a zombie theme in there. Yeah, two separate movies that are naturally seamlessly blended together to make one film. And if you can't tell by the sarcasm in my voice, you're not paying attention. So plot A and plot B will always mesh with the newer film, upchucking an extensive collection of dialogue that's supposed to make the audience somehow believe that the continuous exposition will sum up all the action you saw prior. Spoiler alert, it never does. Narcotics agent Tom Wilde, obviously a cousin to Ted Fast of the Gigantic Serpent, is the best there is, an elite warrior of this modern-day era. An expert in weapons, tactics, hand-to-hand combat, and guerrilla warfare. So, of course, he dies. The end. Oh, wait, yeah, I forgot. They decide to rebuild him, make him stronger, faster, better than he was. With an outfit that consists of about 3 pleather, maybe 3 to 20 some odd pleather bags have been hastily sewed together, and this really half-assed looking miner's helmet that we're supposed to buy as his cybernetic helm. Unlike the superior cyborgs, Tom Wilde 2.0 isn't equipped with a 9mm burst-setting SMG pistol, but in fact was given a flamethrower. And that will be explained why. Because you see, he's on a lead to stopping a mafia, a syndicate, if you will, that's been smuggling heroin, which is now smuggling heroin and vampires. Yeah, that was a sentence I just uttered. Yeah. So, I'm not trying to be sarcastic or silly in this circumstance. I was officially annoyed with this flick by minute 28. Yeah, it is actually a new title. I don't even know where to go with this. I mean, the opening with our film, as I stated, the soldiers that are wandering this plainclothes guy through are firing a belt-fed or box-fed M60, but it's apparently firing semi-automatic, and it's clearly a rubber gun. Our Chinese vampire, which is decked out in what appears to be Ming Dynasty, I couldn't exactly specify for that, his robes and gown as such, he is hopping on the back of his heels and bounding at them. And then, of course, the relegated kung fu flip through the air and just makes a quarter half turn and land on his feet. At one point, I noticed one of our soldiers isn't even wearing Vietnam-era jungle boots or the current mesh-based boots. No, he's wearing Converse sneakers that are black. Now, granted, Converse are cool, but I'm really thinking this is the last place they want their product plugged. And I'm not exactly certain why they're moving vampire bodies. Maybe it pays better than just the heroin alone. Or so I kind of lost all feeling in my frontal lobe, and I'm just operating in my brainstem at this moment. So maybe they're offloading the vampires and the heroin to confuse competitors, so the vampires tear them apart, take the money, and keep the drugs as well. So Robo Tom there joins forces with another agent named Sophie, who is, let's face it, she's just the eye candy. Yeah, she gets constantly captured, she jiggles. Yeah, that's pretty much all we're talking here. So our Italian vampire aficionado mobster decides that he'll get someone to train his vampires to better thwart Tom Wilde, unaware that he's currently cybernetic and all that jazz. Yeah, I saw no holes in that diabolical scheme at all. And seriously, you should see the expression on the henchman's face when he announces that he'll have an army of vampires trained to fight off Tom Wilde and any other narcotics agent. They just kind of looked at each other like, are we still working for this idiot? Wow. Screw this, I'm going to Gotham. So, if you need a drinking game, crappy-themed knockoff films, and look no further, if you want a flick with choppy editing, bad English dubbing, piss-poor blocking to the point where you can't even tell who's talking to whom, and lines that are delivered with such stagger that most thinking beings should be registered in a coma, then you're in luck. All I can say is thankfully this turd waffle was only an hour and 24 minutes, but you'd swear to whatever god of your choice that it was much longer and more grueling than sitting through a Twilight or any of the other Twinkle Fests. That's all I got. Have a good one.